Woe to you, law teachers and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside, you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of unrighteousness. Woe to you, law teachers and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs for the prophets and decorate the graves of the righteous. And you say, if we have lived in the days of our ancestors, we would not have taken part with them in shedding the blood of the prophets. So you testify against yourselves that you are the descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Go ahead then and complete what your ancestors started. This is the gospel of the Lord. C.S. Lewis, in one of the books, talks about being humble. And this is what he says. When you are proud, you can't know God. A proud man always looks down on things and people. And of course, as long as you're looking down, you cannot see something above you. In today's gospel reading, Jesus speaks about being sad and full of grief towards the Pharisees. You'd be surprised to know that the word woe is not a negative phrase. Woe means to have great sorrow and distress of the heart. In fact, we use a version of this word when we say alas. Like, I would love to play professional football, but alas, I have no talent to do it. Jesus was grieving because the Pharisees didn't understand his teaching and failed to practice what they preached. Despite their outward appearance of beauty, Jesus tells us, they're full of impurity on the inside. Jesus looked deep into their hearts, and just as he looks deep into our own hearts, and he said that they didn't perform good deeds, but they did perform good deeds, but for the wrong reasons, for the wrong purposes. Their motivations in all their actions were off-center. Jesus says they built and decorated tombs for the prophets, but only to appear righteous in the front of others. As individuals, we seek approval, don't we? Particularly for those we are close to. We feel tempted to talk about ourselves and our achievements. Sometimes we go against our principles in life to fit in and be accepted by the crowd. But Jesus knows our weaknesses and, of course, extends his loving forgiveness and care to us. But in our gospel today, Jesus says he woes over them. He is in sorrow and distress because the Pharisees had rejected his teaching. We're also told that they also whitewash gravestones. And this wasn't an act of care and respect for their dead. Graves were whitewashed to prevent them from stepping on them and becoming ritually unclean, because this would mean that they couldn't attend worship until they were purified. Jesus tells the Pharisees that they only care about what is on the outside. They only care about the outward appearance of their faith. And this, in a way, he says, masks that their hearts are filled with pride. And they think they are more religious and better than other people. And Jesus makes the point with a story about the Pharisee and tax collector. The Pharisee prays in the synagogue, in the temple, in the story, God, I thank you that I'm not like other people, thieves, rogues, adulterers, or even this tax collector. Jesus then, sometimes we misuse the word woe, Jesus then wasn't angry with Pharisees. He never cancelled them out, but he was rather deeply grieved and in sorrow. Later on, Matthew's Gospel, he says to the Pharisees that simply washing the outside of the cup was not enough. The inside of the cup was to be cleansed too. The inside of the cup, of course, symbolizes the heart. It's the heart that Jesus is really interested in, not what is on the outside, what we look like, what car we may have, what house we live in. He's interested in the heart, not the physical heart, okay, in the heart of our faith. So C.S. Lewis may have it right. And I'm going to repeat it again because in Jesus' time, if you repeated something, it meant that it was very important. So I'm going to repeat this phrase. When you are proud, you cannot know God. A proud man always looks down on things and people. And of course, as long as you're looking down, you cannot see something above you. When you are proud, you cannot know God. A proud man always looks down on the things and people. And of course, as long as you're looking down, you can see something above you. Maybe that's what we need to do in our own lives when we think we are better than our neighbor.